You guys know what day today is? Day in the life of an Amazon private label seller, episode 3. Stay tuned. Alright, so I welcome you guys back to my not very exciting life, but taking you guys along with me. Now, what am I getting into today? Well, I'm kind of excited this morning because I'm actually going to meet up with another seller for breakfast. A little backstory, I mean, is I've actually never been to an Amazon conference, Amazon seller meetup. I've never even, met up with another seller. It doesn't mean that I don't network at all. There is high value in networking. I just haven't gone to any of these different meetups or conferences and stuff. So I definitely hear a lot of people saying that you have to go to these things, and it's like, you need to go. That's, it's not optional. But I've actually found it to be very optional to not go to big meetups or whatever. There's a fine line that you'll notice. So like, I used to be in real estate and sell houses. This was quite some time ago. And one thing I noticed is that like a lot of the people who were in real estate were like just playing a real estate agent. Like they'd go to all these meetings and lunch dates and all this stuff, but they weren't actually selling any houses. What I noticed is the guy who I learned real estate from, the guy who I shadowed, his name was Sean. Shout out to Sean. There was a good balance that he had. He knew other real estate agents. He definitely had his connections like in the office we worked at so that he could ask questions. And he, with the broker, for example, every once in a while they would have, I think on a weekly basis, they had what they called the broker tour, which is where everybody would meet up and anybody who had new listings, they could share them, and then it's kind of like an open house just for real estate agents. But I just remember going to these things, and there are all these people who are like, yeah, I'm a real estate agent. Like, they dress nice, they had a nice car, they were at, like, I see them everywhere. They had everything you could think of. Business cards and this and that and flyers, who knows what. Yet none of these guys or girls, gals, misses, misters, were actually in the market selling. They were just doing things that made them feel like a real estate agent, made them feel a part of it, yet they really weren't. So I just caution you about like the same thing with Amazon, private label. You can get caught up like wasting a lot of time in Facebook groups and going to all these meetups and conferences, yet you're not actually selling anything. So don't get caught in that trap. Like, you really love going to those conferences and meetups, that's awesome. And if you've made some great networking connections, that's even better. But make sure that you're actually getting in the game and being balanced with that time, not like just spending all day answering other new people's questions when you're new. Also, really get in and start to like jump into the Amazon business. So anyway, so that's a little backdrop with me. So this dude I'm meeting up with, his name is Ken, and Ken lives in Texas, I think. Anyways, he's out here visiting a friend, and he hit me up and said, hey, love to take you to breakfast. So I said, let's do it. So it's about an hour drive from where I'm at, and it's funny, it's like 8:30, but it feels like 6 a.m. because I'm used to staying up pretty late talking to China, and so I had to get up at like, I don't even know, like 7:30, and it felt crazy because I'm so used to like staying up a little later and sleeping in. But for Ken, I'm doing it. Anyway, so the way me and Ken met is pretty funny. I actually had posted a question in one of Facebook's groups, and he private messaged me, and he was offering some coaching. And he says, hey, I could coach you on how to do some this and that. We got to talking, and we ended up having a good relationship, friendship, to the point where definitely both were helping each other. At first, my relationship with Ken was like, I was mainly helping Ken, right? So yes, he hit me up and I was like, I don't really need too much help. How's your business going? And here's a couple tips. And then he was like, what? How do you figure that out? Or, man, these are crazy, And and he was doing like 40 grand a month, and now he's doing over 130 grand a month, right? And that's like in 6 months. So that's pretty awesome. But anyways, my relationship with Ken started out with me mainly assisting Ken. And the longer our relationship has gone on, like, you know, masterminding together here and there, now it's like he helps me a lot. He really does. Quick learner, and he's always learning new things. I'm gonna have Ken on an interview here, and not too long from now, because one cool thing that Ken's got going is, like, I work alone, and I have a couple of VAs who specialize in certain aspects, and then I delegate to them. But Ken actually has a partner. You know, partnerships are definitely a touchy thing. Like, it's really easy for partnerships to go bad, yet Ken and his partner have like this really good system worked out. And they both have different strengths, and it allows Ken to like learn different things while his other partner goes and, you know, manages different aspects of the business. And so he's really able to like set aside time to do a lot more learning than maybe someone like myself is. So I'd love to have him on and then like have him give us some tips on what it's like to have a partner and how to make that function really well. But anyways, I'll stop ranting for a little bit. I'm gonna go pick up Ken. All right, see you guys. All right, so I was just with my buddy Ken. Here I'm with Ken. What's up, Ken?
Hey, what's up, guys?
And we just went to breakfast. What do we have today?
We both had the Eggs Benedict.
Eggs Benedict.
Good stuff.
It was good stuff. But yeah, so Ken's out here. Like I said, he's out visiting some friends, and it's really cool. We've talked a lot, like, on Facebook, but it's the first time we got to meet in person, and it was awesome. But yeah, so we're just talking right now about maybe a tip or something that Ken can share with you guys that's really helped him and might be able to help you. What do you got, Ken? What do you have for us?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think the tip that I would like to give that's been the most important for me and my business and working with my business partner is both being accountable and really having a clear vision of goals, plans, actions that you need to take each day. So I know for my business partner and I, you know, he actually has an MBA, whereas I didn't finish school. So he's kind of the business mind, and I've had to learn these things. But one thing that's helped us so much is keeping a calendar, putting our monthly goals down, our goals for a 6-month period, and also our daily goals. And, you know, plenty of times we don't cross everything off the list, but every single day, whether it's, you know, doing something like, oh, I need to check my supplies, I need to, you know, talk to my VA, see how everything's doing, check my numbers, inventory, whatever it may be, or, you know, doing an hour of product research or something like that. I think it's super important, very helpful, and just helps you have a clear vision for your business and where you want to move to, you know, sort of write everything down and plan wisely. And, you know, it may seem a little silly if you just say, okay, do product research for 1 hour and you write that down. I really have found that if I can just, you know, every day that I'm working, knock out 3, 4, 5 solid items on my list, you'll find yourself in a few months having, you know, a lot of success. And that's been really beneficial for me. And talking to this guy's been really helpful too. So, yeah.
I appreciate that, Ken. That reminds me, so he's talking about goals and like making to-do lists. 2018, it's a great time to set some goals, some small goals that'll lead up to those big goals. Going along with what Ken said, I like to, when I write a to-do list, I don't only write huge things on there. I write some really small things, whether it's just like eat lunch or something, just so I can have the enjoyment of like checking something off. But yeah, so appreciate that tip from Ken. He's got to go catch a flight now, but we'll talk to him again soon in another video. All right, so Ken's a really smart dude. I mean, that dude is always learning, and I respect that about him. He's not stagnant. He continues to try to find out what's working. And that's what I've noticed with a lot of other good sellers, is they find out what's working, and they execute very well, and then they continue to find out what else they can do to build their business. So always stay learning. Now, it's funny. It is, it's 1 p.m. now, and I haven't even checked my sales for the day. Not at all. It's funny because when you're a newer seller, I call it new SellerItus. They're suffering from an acute case of new SellerItus. And what that is when you check your phone with the Amazon app like every 30 seconds. Did I get a sale? Did I get a sale? Did I get a sale? And you'll see if you aren't selling yet, once you do, you'll notice that you have come down with a acute case of new SellerItus when you're checking your phone every 30 seconds. So it definitely took me, I don't know, 6 months, 8 months before I wasn't like obsessively just clicking the refresh button on my phone. But that's one way you can tell that you're starting to become like a seasoned seller, is when you don't have that new SellerItus and you're not like checking it every couple seconds waiting. Anyway, so I'm getting back into town. We talked for like 2.5 hours outside after eating breakfast at that diner, and shared some stories, but we also talked about other things besides Amazon, which is cool. I really believe like that, business shouldn't be your sole focus. You should definitely work on like just being a balanced person. So I do posts in Facebook groups from time to time and answer people's questions. And I talk to a lot of people, and they're so determined to just make a lot of money, and they want to make it fast. Like, I think that's why this whole Bitcoin crypto thing is going crazy, is because everyone's like seeing people becoming instant millionaires, and they want a piece of the action too, which is dangerous. It's dangerous thinking. Not everyone is that success story. And usually if somebody's making money, that means someone else is losing money. But yeah, so I really encourage especially new sellers to be patient. Like, private label takes a lot of patience. Once you get a product into production and picking one, and it seems like it's taking forever, but you know what? After a while, you start to notice that, hey, it's not that long. And so be patient. And the other thing is, try to, yes, have business goals like we were talking about, like what Ken was saying, like goals throughout the day, but also set some personal goals. I posted in my Facebook group, I posted like a little poll, not a poll, but like a comment about what are your goals, business and personal, because I really think that like personal goals are huge. And one of the biggest things that people are missing is contentment. I noticed for myself that, and this isn't the most Amazon related, this is more just business and life related, is that when it comes to making money, the law of diminishing returns definitely comes into play. Like, I remember when I was pushing carts for $11 an hour at Costco, right? My wife and I, we had to like totally be budgeted on, like when we ate out and how much we spent at the grocery store and how much we did this and if we could afford to buy this or that, right? And then as I started making more money, right, the next gap in my income, that next level up, I noticed that, there was a pretty decent increase in like freedom, or I guess you could say some enjoyment in life. There's a pretty big jump. Well, after it got to a point where I didn't really worry about like, if I had money to go out to eat or something, or if I saw like I wanted to buy a certain thing that I wasn't really having to like to worry about it too much. I noticed that anything above that, earning-wise, the law of diminishing returns, it didn't really have that huge of an impact on my actual life. So, I know there's definitely these, I see a lot of young people, they see like these videos of dudes with Lambos and mansions and all this stuff, but, if you can't figure out contentment, I don't care if you have Lambos and mansions, you're not going to be satisfied. So, set some good business goals for 2018. Set some good personal goals for personal development, growth, and really work on that contentment and be patient with the process of private label. It's totally different than online arbitrage and other arbitrage and drop shipping and everything like that. That's that immediate gratification. But with private label, remember, it takes a while longer. You have to be more patient, but the benefits are a lot better. Anyways, once I get back to my place, I'm going to jump on the computer. I got to do the day-to-day activities on a few things. I have a couple samples I'm working on, trying to perfect it, that I'm hoping to get sourced and an order put in before Chinese New Year. That's what I'm really going to be working on here the next couple days. And I'll see you guys in the next video.